welcome to Freshly Served, the healthy vegan cooking show. I'm Heather, and tonight we are making some fresh spring rolls with a peanut dipping sauce. Now these are the kind of fresh rolls that you're going to see in a Thai restaurant with the rice paper wrap and just a whole bunch of raw vegetables inside. And I like to do a peanut sauce. There's also a spicy chili kind of sauce that's more runny. It's more of a clear sauce. I personally love the peanut sauce, so that's what I'm going to do tonight. And that's what we're going to start with because, let's face it, that's where the yumminess comes in, right? Okay, so I've got some peanut butter mixed in a bowl with some untoasted sesame oil to start with. Now you want to make sure you use the natural kind of peanut butter that's unrefined and that has, on the ingredients, just listed peanuts. You don't need any added salt or added sugar, and the pre-blended kinds of peanut butters have added oil, which you don't need. And also, it's not going to work out as well for the texture. Not as healthy and not as good for what we're doing. So, okay, I've got the peanut butter mixed in with some untoasted sesame oil until I get a texture that I like. And we are going to add a bit more liquid to this, but this is basically where you're going to get the base of your dipping sauce. And use an amount that's appropriate for how many rolls you're making. If you have leftover sauce, you can always use it for something else. So I always tend to err on the side of too much rather than too little. Next thing we're going to do is add some toasted sesame oil for some flavor. This stuff has an amazing flavor, but it's very strong, so you only need a tiny little bit, which I've added in there. And then I'm going to use some tamari, which is a fermented soy sauce. Soy sauce you can use as well. The fermented kind is much easier for your body to digest. So if you can find some tamari, I would recommend that over soy sauce. So stir that together, and you might notice that it's getting a little bit more solid because the soy sauce is reacting with the oil. And then I'm also going to put some vinegar in here. Brown rice vinegar is what is typically used. I'm using apple cider vinegar because I like it. Have a good source for it, and I know that it's unrefined and so on. So give that a good stir. Now the vinegar is going to cause things to separate a little bit, but if you keep stirring, it'll come back together. So here is my sauce, and you can see the texture there. Now I've used smooth peanut butter tonight, but I love to do this with crunchy peanut butter. Phil's not as much of a fan of that as I am, but yeah, I love the crunchy bits. Okay, the next and last thing I'm going to add in here is a little bit of chili. You can use chili flakes or chili paste, and this is going to be to your own preferences. I like a little bit of spice just to liven the sauce up. But I don't like too much because spicy stuff doesn't do well in my system. If you like really spicy, put more in. If you don't like spicy at all, try it without. You can always add some later. You cannot take it out though, so be careful. Now, in a sauce, I would normally be adding salt. The reason I'm not adding salt to this one is because I added soy sauce, tamari. That has a lot of salt in it, so I don't need to add any actual salt to this. Okay. So once you get the texture that you like, you give it a taste if you like, but I know I've made this a whole lot, so I know that I like this flavor. And the amounts I'm not too particular about. And then we're going to set this aside and get working on our rice paper rolls. So what I've got to work with today, and the fillings can be pretty much whatever you like. That's the nice thing about this recipe, is you can put in whatever you want. So I've got some grated carrot, I've got some green onion, I've got some lettuce, I've got some cucumber that I've cut into julienne strips. You can do the same thing with the carrot, but I've gotten on to grating them because it's a little bit softer. And I've got some parsley, some flat leaf parsley. I don't really like cilantro when it's fresh, so I use flat leaf parsley instead. But if you like cilantro, that is the traditional filling for this roll. And then whatever else you want to improvise with, that's fine. But basically what I want to show you tonight is how to roll the rice paper rolls. so I'm not too concerned about the fillings. So they come like this, and what we're gonna do is, I've got a plate just like this. Ooh, they break pretty easily, so you wanna be careful with them. And when they break, you can't really roll them, so that one's pretty much done. I'll get a new one, and then what I've got here is a plate that's full with water. And you need to have a plate that has a little bit of a curve to it, otherwise it won't hold the water. And then what you're gonna do is put this into the water, and it takes a minute to soften up. So what I usually do is get one going. Once it's soft, I'll transfer it here and start filling it and rolling it. And while I'm rolling, or filling and rolling, I'm gonna take another one and put it in the water to start it softening so that I don't have to wait for it again. It only takes a couple minutes, and your roll should be able to crunch right up. I'm just doing that so you can see how soft it is. You don't need to do that, okay? Then you're gonna shake off any excess water, put it on your plate, and I find that a plate is the best surface to roll on because it doesn't stick. And then get your next one going so that it's soft by the time I'm done rolling this one. Okay, so like I said, I like to use a plate. I find the counter or a cutting board are too sticky so that when I roll it, it rips the paper, whereas a plate is going to be nice and smooth. So what I do is I take a piece of lettuce, and I'm taking off the really stiff part of the stem. Throw that in my compost. I'll take some grated carrot, and you want to be making things in kind of a long, skinny strip in the middle of your roll. Take a few strips of cucumber, a couple bits of green onion, and some parsley. Now the biggest mistake people often make is filling these things too full. If you do that, it's going to be really difficult to roll. You're going to get frustrated. It's not a good scene. So start with as little filling as you can manage. I often find it difficult to control myself because I love to shove these things full of vegetables. Okay, so how we roll is you're going to fold both ends in like this. Take this back end over like so, all the way over the vegetables, press down and squish it back. And then you'll just keep rolling to the end of your paper, okay? So that's what they should look like. They're beautiful, you can see through them. If you want, you can get some flat leaf parsley or cilantro on the outside, and then you can see it through the paper. Now, as you can probably tell, these are white rice paper rolls, and I have not been able to find any brown rice paper rolls. Otherwise, that's obviously what I would use. But what I feel with these guys is I can cram them full of vegetables. The percentage of white rice on the outside is pretty small compared to how much vegetable I can put in here. And it makes things really delicious for people who don't normally eat fresh raw vegetables, especially lettuce and sprouts. People will often really enjoy these rolls, even if they don't like a salad. So I think of them as like a treat. And yes, they are white refined rice, but hey, we don't have to do things perfectly all the time. There's a lot of healthy stuff going on here otherwise. Now when you first roll them, they're going to come out and they're going to be a little bit slippery. Just leave them for a few minutes and they should get nice and tight on the roll. Now this one isn't perfectly tight. If it takes a while of doing them before you can get them really nice and tight, so don't give up, keep on going, and then once you get them done, give them a little slice in half, and you can put them on a plate, make them look really nice and pretty with some sauce in the middle.